This is going to be fun. So I say we go right into this collective reading, doggy. Do it. Woo! And if you didn't watch the little story that Craig and I just did on Instagram and on TikTok, check it out. Even though it was like, I don't know, it was all right. It's all right. But definitely Mr. Craigie in there was getting down on that one. So collective, it is one of those weeks, right? We're in Sag. Have you been feeling the fire energy, hopes and dreams, and also the things that I want to say this, with the South Node being in Sag, with the Sun, things that we believe were our doors are going to close, but the better things that we've always wanted to open that maybe we didn't believe were possible are going to open, but we got to walk through them, and that includes in love. And I think that's one of the things, right? It's almost like I think we've been shortchanging ourselves, and I think that this is a time to not shortchange ourselves anymore. Top of that, we got Venus and Scorpio going to oppose Uranus and Taurus. This one to me is quite interesting. We saw Mercury retrograde through here over these last 6-7 weeks, and then we saw Mercury do this opposition 3 times. Now it's Venus only 1 time. And so this is definitely a moment. Venus and Scorpio is a detriment, but it has its needs, it has its wants, and so does Taurus with Uranus there of connecting. And so this is whether or not we're turning the light socket on onto physical, deeper, emotional, amazing, hungry hippos that we all are for love, or we're disconnecting because we don't feel that energy. But there's going to be a lot of flips of the script here on you having to change and find, are you willing to have a better life and a better energy when it comes to love and get your deep truth? You're going to have to take some risk. We're going to see Mercury and Scorpio all week, make that trine to Neptune, which is happening here on Monday, and then make sextiles over to Jupiter and Pluto. And we have Saturn coming in at 28 degrees, so it's almost out. Remember that in less than a month, Saturn and Jupiter are moving into Aquarius. So it's like the domino effect is starting to happen of fate. And this is one of those weeks where, especially because we come into Monday next week with a lunar eclipse in Gemini, and we come into the eclipse season, and this is going to be much different than the other eclipse seasons that we have been going through. Those Cancer and Capricorn ones, and we finished the last Cancer eclipse on June 21st, or June 20th, I think, but it was the solstice. And this one definitely going to wild things up and bring stimulation and change your world and change your environment, especially when it comes to love. To finish things off too, the moon going through a lot of the personal energy, right? It's out of this Pisces energy and coming into Aries, Taurus, and then Gemini by this weekend. So we are going to be definitely focused on our personal lives and our needs and our wants and our hungers and our desires and our new stories to write, especially with all the Sag energy. There's so much about new stories, and I think that's so important for us to remember that we can have those great, amazing, positive stories. We can have those more doors open. But I think that, are we going to keep shortchanging ourselves? I keep getting that. I think that Venus and Scorpio will shortchange itself if we are addicted to the either A, partnerships that aren't working, X's that don't work, or just ourselves holding ourselves back from having bliss in our life. Like, this is where you don't want to do that. Uranus and Taurus wants to bring us to that ultimate bliss. We also are going to see the Sun trine Chiron here coming into Tuesday, Wednesday, and I think that that is extreme for healing so much of these stories and ourselves, that our ego has kind of identified ourselves in this kind of like, I don't know, it's like we're almost laughing at ourselves. Like, why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we keep staying in these weird positions in ourselves? It's like we're going to have to heal and break through so many of these things. This is a big breakthrough week, especially on the heels of a big eclipse. So, right, this is a big eclipse, even though it is not going to be some like total eclipse, right? It's not a total lunar. It's not like some like holy cow, but it is definitely an eclipse that is going to trigger this whole entire nodal activity. The big deal, though, and I almost forgot about it because it's very Neptunian of me. Neptune comes direct on Saturday, a day before the eclipse, and it's going to square the nodes. So talk about dreams and talk about, love stories and all that. This is where we almost feel like we're all numb, but that's what's weird is Venus is going to try and shock our system with the opposition to Uranus here. Uranus actually is going to shock it and be like, do you want to go into a magical story, or do you want to keep just kind of holding yourself back into some sort of weird numb state? And I'm here to tell you, I don't think that we've already been numb enough this year, and having to go through the numbing, through the weirdness of 2020, I don't think people are going to want to do that anymore. So let's see what the cards have to say for the collective this week after that. First card that we got here is the Three of Swords reversed. Oh, wow. Let's avoid heartbreak as much as possible. But this could be kind of a problem if you're afraid to go into things because of heartbreak, or you already are in a really shitty relationship and you know there's heartbreak there and you're avoiding it. So that works both ways, right? If you're single, you're like, I don't know, I'm kind of like in a place where I'm holding myself back, or you haven't let go of an old heartbreak. I'll call those people out. But I think that definitely it's like there's nothing more heartbreaking than sitting in shit. And that means holding yourself back from love in any form or fashion, staying in something that sucks, or not going into anything because you're just kind of like playing on the fence on things. Our challenge card that we got is the 8th house. Ooh, endings and beginnings. That's the challenge, right? It's like, oh, do I start something here, or how do I end it? Do I end this cycle I'm in? And do I, you know what? An 8th house, right? Sex, intimacy, it's like all in, right? So talk about like, there's a little bit of like avoidance, and now I was talking about numbing. It's interesting to see the cards pull up this way already. Our overall card that we got here is the Ace of Cups reversed. Wow. So overall, we definitely need our I love gold chalices filled. It's there's no water in here. There's no emotion. There's no feeling. We need that. We need a resurgence here. And this reversal says that we're all at the end road here. We're like, I am done not feeling fulfilled emotionally with where I want to be with partnerships, and I am ready to fill that cup. But I think it's going to take, you can't avoid, I have to say this because love, there's always going to be in everything, right? There's love and there's transformation. I don't even want to say the term death, right? Because we got the 8th house here. But everything does eventually come to what we seem as an end, but it doesn't. So go and live life to your fullest. Go live the true happiness. Go live the true love. Eventually, somebody will die. You know what I mean? Like, that's just life, right? So, I mean, but it's like, that's just whatever that happens from the universe. So it's like, why are we afraid or putting up walls too? 8th house can put up a lot of walls, or feel trust issues or intimacy issues. Like, this is definitely where we got to break through all this stuff. Our shadow of all that is, ooh, look at this, the masquerade. We're putting on masks that really aren't us. And I think that we're putting on like some sort of mask that we aren't allowing ourselves to receive, to change our lives, to bring in new things. And we need to take that off. That's the shadow of why we're having trust issues, or integrating and starting new things, or pushing things off. I see a lot of people, from clients to just people, push things like, oh, like, let me push it off a couple more days. Let me push things off another week. Let me push things off. I don't want to deal with things now. And that's the mask that, because maybe we're too afraid to just be honest and vulnerable and reveal the deep stuff. The reason why we pulled that 3 of Swords, we got the 8 of Swords. Wow. So we don't want to get into a toxic place. That's granted. I get it. But is the toxic place us avoiding what we think is heartbreak, but we're in heartbreak? So that's toxic? Like, it's almost like somebody, it's almost like with partnerships, it's like, oh, I feel like I'm safer to not do something, or to just kind of stay in my shithole to avoid toxicity, when that's the toxicity itself. When I think love is the ultimate breaker of all toxic things in life. The way that we are going to try to understand the Ace of Cups reversed, why are people feeling so emotionally not there? Knight of Cups. We need to move forward, and you know what? It's new love. Actually, I gotta give a shout out because this deck is done by a very good friend of mine, and I wish I had the name of the deck here to go get it. But I will put that all up underneath below. But I just, she's sad, she's awesome, and love your deck so much. And she's been friends of mine for a long time. She's set this deck. But Knight of Cups upright. I mean, this is moving forward in emotional new positions in order. You have to take that courage that the Knight takes, and you have the armor on, and you can't stay stuck. You got to move forward. And you got to move into the emotional places that you want to be. Our overall cards that we got here is, wow, Page of Pentacles upright. And I'm doing it with, wow, the Talisman. Well, you know what? It's time to move into the things that we want to feel in the physical element to change. And we need to unlock those doors, and we need to open them. We need to open new doors. And this is, if you're getting things about relationships and situations that are positive, that are about to build new doors, and talking about building things in life, then it's right. If it's like avoiding of wanting to build things, I'd stay away. Or anybody that doesn't want to like totally send you the message that they want to build something with you or create something with you or grow something beautiful with you. These are the doors that are unlocking beautiful things. Our astro dice that we pulled we got the third house with the moon in Libra. So this is definitely a very, very stimulating week about relationships and communication and figuring things out emotionally and where things are at, and finding that true emotional space that we need to be with relationships. But we have to communicate, and we have to also look at the environment we're in. Is this the environment that we get ourselves in that really is bringing us that emotional peace in our life and that ability to connect? Or have we created an environment that is kind of crazy, and we're kind of crazy because we're not allowing the environment to bring the peace that we want to have in our life emotionally? You know, it's definitely going to be about stimulation this week. And why are we avoiding the stimulation of positivity and staying in the stimulation of emptiness?
Yeah, I think it's time that we engage again. You know, there's been a lot of detachment.
Oh, don't get all Top Gun on me. Maverick's engaging.
Maximum velocity, time to engage. No, but we got to become a player in the game again. You know, I think we all have learned a lot of the last 11 months or so, kind of what it is that we're looking for in this life, who it is when it comes to friendships and relationships, and of course that goes along with who it is that we want as lovers in this life as well. I think it's a lot that we taught now, and I think that it's time that we actually put that into play. We put that energy into motion and say, yeah, okay, this individual is not actually going to work for me in the long run, but there's going to be people there that are going to spark that interest, and it's time to actually take that next step and get back into the game and start feeling that fulfillment again. You know, whatever that happiness is going to bring you, you have to put yourself back in the opportunity to let that grow and to let that happiness kind of, so you can cultivate it and move forward in your life.
Yeah, because if you don't move forward and you stay in the same place, you said engagement. I don't even know if you ever said that word, right? About engaging it.
Enhance and engage.
I'm sorry. I'm a Top Gun guy. I was in the Navy. Maverick's re-engaging. He's getting in, and that's the whole thing. It reminds me of Top Gun. When Goose dies, he has trouble getting back up into the plane. He has trouble getting back into it, and then they let him. He had enough credit, so he graduates. But when he gets to that wartime, he's all afraid, right? And then he starts freaking out a little bit up there. But it's when he finally finds that confidence again, and he re-engages, and then he, shoots down the bogeys, and next thing you know, woo, it's all great. And then him and Val Kilmer are best friends now. I mean, I think that this is the way that you even just presented all that, and then it just brought up Top Gun. I don't know. There's something about having to re-engage in life and get over the pitfalls, the weird shit that has happened, and get back moving again and get back into things, because this is just not the year to just keep sitting in that shit.
No, because it's going to continue just to fester, if we don't actually, once again, engage, get back into it, get into like finding yourself. Everything that we've learned over this last year, it's all with us now. And I think it's time to actually put that into play and progress forward. Be who it is that you want to be, and allow the others to be there in your life that you seem fitting. And if they don't, then don't feel bad about cutting that shit out either.
I know, and I think that it's important for people to stop festering around.
Yeah.